Okay, so right now I'm working on Duke. As you can see, Duke's been completely stripped down. I decided I wanted to clean the body shells and clean the mech and everything. And I took his eyes out. I actually took the eyes out for all the characters. And I took out all the eyes of the characters and the eyelids. And I'm cleaning them. So Duke is going to get cleaned. And then, as you can see, his right arm is missing. And as I was messing around with him and checking to make sure everything was good mechanical wise, I noticed that the bushings I noticed that the bushing in his right arm swing they were destroyed. So I took them to be drilled out and for new bushings to be pressed in. Hopefully we'll get that back soon. But I also replaced the actual ear levers because they were broken. And I also replaced the clippered cylinders with some new cylinders. So now both those movements work. Everything's working on him. I replaced the arm. That's like basically a brand new movement now. So that's what I'm doing right now. Fats, since I'm done with Fats and I don't really have anything else to do with him, at least for now, I pulled his eyelids off to be repainted, and I tied him up in some plastic so no dust gets on him or spiders. He's having that problem. So I tied off the plastic at his legs so nothing can get in there, and just make sure that whenever I set him up, he's all ready to go, and he doesn't have any dust on him. I cleaned him up pretty good, and so yeah. Took the eyelids and eyeballs out of Lynchburg. Probably going to tie Billy Bob up in plastic too, because he's basically done. The only thing left to do is to put on the foot tap once that's done welding, and yeah, that's about it. I mean, he's about 100%. Don't have the cosmetics for him yet. So as you can see, I cleaned up Mitzi really well. You can see how clean her body shells are, nice and smooth. And I just took some very fine grit sandpaper and went over the other body shell, and got her eyes cleaned off the neck a little bit, you can see, and cleaned her head shell, everything. So I will probably cover her in plastic as well, just like Billy Bob. I'll do that with all the characters once I'm done. Here's Rolf. I had to take Rolf's legs off because the front of the foot plate on both feet was actually broken off. So I took that to be welded. Somebody, whenever they were pulling him off the stage, just pushed him forwards, and that broke off the two fronts of the plates. So in order to keep him stable, I needed to have that re-welded. So, and I also had them reinforced even more. So that'll be good. Rolf is about 100%. I heard a leak in the arm, but I won't be able to do anything until I get his legs back. So for now, he will be legless. But yeah, he's 100%. Looney Bird I need to start working on. Beach Bear, and eyes taken out. I am going to work on him pretty soon. But yeah, for the most part, that's it. So I'll film the issues I have on Looney Bird. Get the arm back on Duke. Get him. Another thing I need to do for Mitzi and Duke is I need to replace the arm ducts that go in here because they're pretty cut up. And in order to make sure that the cosmetics aren't going to get damaged, I need to replace this. So I'm going to take that off, replace those, replace the ones on Duke's arms. A lot of people have asked about Uncle Clunk. I'm not going to be able to do anything with him for quite a while. He's like the last priority for me because he's missing half the cylinders in the arm. I would have aired him up already. He probably would have been one of the first I aired up, but unfortunately, since he's missing half the cylinders in his arm, and not just the cylinders, I mean, he's missing the cylinder mounts, he's missing everything. So I can only assume he was probably parted out for one of the other Minnesota stores. So yeah, but he's in really good shape. On this side, he's in really good shape. He's got all the cylinders and everything, but on this side, this is really going to take a lot of work. I know he's actually missing the finger mechanism, so yeah, there's a lot that's going to have to go into him in order to even get him working. And then there's adjustments, there's alignment of the cylinders and all that stuff that I didn't know. Because I know the angles for the classic characters, but not for him. So that's another thing to consider. This is the Lynchburg Mitzi that I had. This is going to a fan. It's fully working. And yeah, as you can see, I cleaned her eyes off, clean her eyelids. So I've got Beach Bear here. I took off his body shells and leather guards and everything to check his mechanism. And everything looks really good. I had to rebuild the guitar strum cylinder, and yeah, everything seemed to be good. And then I was inspecting the mechanism, and everything looked good again. But then I noticed something, which is this threaded rod runs through the entire body. Normally you have a threaded rod that ends here and a threaded rod that ends here. But for some reason, there's one going through the entire body. So what I realized was the other mount for the body shell broke off. And instead of rewelding it, they just decided to stick an extended threaded rod through there. And it seems like that worked. It's not ideal. In the future, I'll have it repaired. But for now, I don't want to go through the effort of taking him apart and getting that repaired. That really sucks. So, but everything else is looking good. The guitar slide actually started working, which is weird. I don't know what's up with that. It's still inconsistent, but it started working, so I'll figure that out. I probably need to replace the cylinder there. There's more than likely something wrong with the cylinder. But yeah, he's got no leaks. He's about 100%. I just need to get that piece welded and the guitar slide fixed, and he'll be about 100%. So Billy Bob's all cleaned up. I took his fiberglass shells off and cleaned them off. And so now he's nice and clean. Waiting on the eyelids to be painted, and then I'll reattach them. That will probably be in a couple months. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so finally I figured out what was going on with Beach Bear's guitar. So I loosened this nut here, and then I moved the cylinder around a little bit to see what position I could put it in that wouldn't cause any stress on this system right here. And so I got it to that point, and then I retightened the nut, and now, this is moving freely. So looks like I fixed that issue. So here's Mitzi. So again, cleaned her off and everything. Waiting on the eyelids. As you can see, I took the ear levers off, and unfortunately, the damage to the ear lever aluminum pieces here is far worse than I had anticipated. So it's looking like I'm actually going to have these two pieces remachined, remade, and then have these grinded off, and then have the new ones welded on. So, because that's unfortunate. Unfortunately, this hole is enlarged. The holes for the set screws are paper thin. I couldn't even thread thowose again. So yeah. And then I fixed the head up. I'm not gonna take off the leather guard for that, but I just replaced that bolt that somebody stuck in there with a dowel pin. And the hole was enlarged due to the threaded rod, just like this, but I used some extra long set screws and just really held it in there. Ideally, you would re-weld over that and then drill back through, but for now, I think this is going to be okay.